Kia ora everyone, day 31, I'm still in recovery mode, and today I finally took a clean live trade and banked green. It's a small win, but if I keep stacking trades like this, I'll claw my way back. I also paper traded a few setups with mixed results in a pretty slow market. So here's how it played out. So my first trade of the day was actually a live trade on SBEV. I locked in 25 cents a share, and with 100 shares, a net profit of, or a profit I should say, of $25. So it was good. If I bring up the chart, unfortunately last night I accidentally didn't record my trading. I recorded the wrong scene, so it came out blank. Anyway, I still took some shots of the trade. So as you can see here, this was around just before 7 AM in market time, and it had popped up off the low here below VWAP. I didn't trade it. I did see it as it popped, and I did think about taking an entry here on that micro pullback for a push through to VWAP. Not a bad idea. There's plenty of volume coming in on those candles, so nice volume there on that first candle up, and then there. But I wanted to wait, see if it broke through VWAP. So it did push up, broke through VWAP there, and I entered here right on the bottom of that candle. I punched an order in for, I think it was 270, and it just dipped down enough and filled me straight on 270 there at the bottom of that candle. It did take a while to resolve. It was struggling around over VWAP, and it never went into the red, which was good. And I held through that red candle there, and then eventually it broke through. I think there's a bit of resistance around $2.86. I probably could have taken it around there. That would have been a base hit of 15 cents, and that's kind of what I'm looking at taking. But I put an order at $2.95, expecting it to come and maybe retest around the $3 mark. I didn't know if it was going to actually go right to $3.13. It did, but I took my exit early at $2.95. But decent trade, pretty confident trade, and maybe I could have held a wee bit longer, but I was really happy with that. So that was my first live trade back, and banking some profit back is good. My next trade I took was not on live, but just paper trades. So at the moment my rules are, to minimize my risk, is to take one trade live a day, only if there's a setup, a stock that meets my criteria, and a setup that's a good quality setup. So I thought that was a good quality setup on SBEV, and volume had come in at that point, so I jumped in on that opportunity. Next trade I took was on SNYR. SNYR was an interesting stock because it had kind of gone up. If I have a look at the, actually I haven't even got that up at the moment. SNYR, that's the one. So if we have a look at SNYR, and if I go back to regular price, and that's on year to date. Right. So this stock had already made a move up to $5.85 at around 6.30. So I saw this around here 6.45, and it was declining. It did hold here around 424, or along that resistance line, 420, 430, and did make some breaks up here. I think I took my first trade on it here as it pushed up at 7 o'clock. Let's have a look here. So I don't think this had any news either. it was, I'm not sure why it was up. It might have been continuation stock maybe, but I can't actually remember. So if I bring up the chart for that one, yeah, so here it's broken through that consolidation line around 450, and I missed the break of that consolidation, but I took a micro pullback here. So if you look on the 10-second chart here, you can see that there's a slight micro pullback here, and I took that entry there, and then took my profit pretty quickly as it pushed through that second candle there around 494. So just trying to take profit quickly before reverses or before there's a red candle. So that's, sometimes you get it right and you get a good fill like here, and other times you sell too early and it keeps going without you. But that's fine, profit's good. And recently, especially when I've been live trading, over trading a bit, I will be holding on to trades for too long and end up turning a green trade into a red. So really try not to do that and just really just lock profit in. Next stock I traded was MTVA. MTVA did have news. I didn't trade this very well. I took 3 trades on SNYR and I was green on that stock. I took 3 trades on MTVA and I am red on this stock. I think all of my trades on MTVA were red. So if I come into here, so you can see here volumes come in, but it's really on the back side of the move. By the time I have gotten in here, I've gotten in on this pullback, but you know, really I should have waited for confirmation that it was going to hold. But even there, I mean, it's pulled back so far, it's pretty much enveloped that green candle, and that's not a good buying sign. But I jumped in here just thinking it was going to push a leg higher. It didn't, it pulled back and it stopped me out. Next trade was the same thing. It sort of, I took the break of the first green candle. I didn't take my profit when I should have. I thought it was going to push closer to 250. I had a mental target price of around 498, 499, and when it pushed up to 446, it was very quick, and then it pulled back. And as it was pulling back here, maybe I should have gotten out, but it didn't hit my price target, and eventually I just stopped out on this stock altogether. Another opportunity to get out here, sort of more break even, but I was trying to let it resolve one way or the other. So 2 red trades on MTVA. So we, not big ones, not big losers. They were still within my stop loss limit. So 13 cents per share on the first trade and 10 cents per share on the second trade. So $10 and $13. The next trade on SNYR was a green trade. And this one here was a dip off of the VWAP. So it came down to the VWAP, dipped down below, and then started buying up. I bought here at, what was that? That was, where are we? $4.12 I bought in. So in here at $4.12, bought all the way back up here, and I didn't sell on the top of the candle up here when it pushed back up. I didn't get out there. Should have gotten out there, but didn't. Pulled back all this way, and I was considering taking it at around 420, but then it rallied, and it just had a spike of buyers coming in, and I managed to sell up here at around 436, yeah, around 436. So good trade there. Did have to wait for a little bit for it to resolve, but once again, volume coming in on that green candle there, buying back up off the dip, and really for a dip trade, it should have been out up here at the top of the candle when it pushed back to the high, but yeah, ended up holding a bit long on that one. And I'll do my last trade on SNYR. So this trade here, I missed the break here again along that resistance line. It had been coming up and sort of testing this along around 436, 438, somewhere around there. Finally broke through there, missed that break, which would have been a better entry. But I took the pullback looking for a leg higher, but the market was pretty slow today, and just things around pre-market, especially early in pre-market, they weren't really putting in big moves. And this one here, SNYR, had already put in a big move prior to 7 a.m. anyway. Around 6:30 I think that move finished, and it was really on the back end of that move. So probably expecting a bit much for it to rally back up there so early in pre-market. And so I ended up stopping out at that, even though I could have gotten out here with a little bit of profit. I was a bit late in calling that out, and it had dropped all the way back down to here anyway. Yeah, so probably could have gotten out a bit earlier, but took a loss on that, and that was biggest loss of the day, $19. The other trade on MTVA was only a really small loss. I bought here looking for it to bounce back up off the VWAP, so coming down to retest VWAP and then bouncing back up to take a quick profit there. It didn't, it pulled back, and I stopped out pretty much straight away. So that resolved very quickly, that trade. But only $5 loss on that one. And then MURA popped up on news. This was a bit of a grinder. Had actually everything just seemed to grind this morning. Didn't really, nothing really sort of was ripping or anything like that. It was just kind of grinding away on most of the stocks I traded this morning. This one was no different. I bought in here on that support level, looking for it to push and break. It was really just kind of going nowhere, so I just took my exit here while I was in profit, and it was 9 cents a share, $9 profit. But really I just got out of the trade because it just wasn't going anywhere. Yeah, there's, you know, bottoming tails on most of these candles here, but it was just struggling to break over 192, 195. It did eventually break after it had pulled back, kind of closer to the VWAP. It dipped down and then ripped. And, you know, there's an entry here possibly for the break of that first green candle, and then entry here again as it broke through that resistance line. And still to made, you know, roughly 20 cents a share, possibly on that trade, maybe 15 to 18 cents a share. But that stock actually went further. If I bring that up on TraderView, over the course of the day, that stock actually pushed up from where I was trading it around here. I think I was trading it, and then it pushed up to 217. Yeah. No, I was trading it here, wasn't I? 190. Yeah. So I was trading it through this section here. My trade was in this section here, and then it broke through that level and went up to about 220, just over 220, pulled back, and then coming into the open, it rallied again, broke through that previous high, and then sort of ground up and up, sort of along that trend line there, and it's probably not the best tool to use for drawing trend lines, but kind of maybe in here somewhere. But yeah, sort of traded, trended up in the early part of the open session, pulled back, and then yeah, that was pretty much it, but got up to a high of about 320. So not bad, but to be honest, on the day I called it early. I didn't watch the open at all. I was pretty tired, and trading tired, you know, you make mistakes and that sort of thing. And so one of my things is if I am really tired, then it's better to go to bed, get some sleep, and wake up the next day and trade with a fresh head. So that was pretty much my day. So paper trading, I ended up with only 3 green trades and 4 red. So a bit of a lower win rate, but my risk reward ratio sort of saved me 1.76. I only walked away with $15 profit on paper trading, so pretty slow when I was trading, and that was another reason why I sort of walked away before the open. So my paper trading month looks way better than my live account. So my live account, if I get rid of some of these, so my live account is actually looking pretty dismal. I've had, you know, 4 green days and 4 red days, but my red days have been far bigger than my green days. My green days have been pretty small compared. So I'm in a drawdown, and I have been since the start of the month anyway, but you know, really got to look at recovering that, and the way of doing that is probably by being very disciplined and reducing my risk in, or minimizing my risk in the market. Yeah, so but happy with my result today for my 1 live trade. That's a good start. The plan at the moment is to lock in a few green days by selecting the right stock and taking a quality setup. Taking only 1 base hit trade a day, locking in 10 to 15 cents per share of profit. You know, I'm not looking for big winners, unless I just happen to be in a trade that rips, then okay, that'll be great, but you know, it's more about building consistency and being able to repeat the process while scaling up my share size. This will gradually increase my P&L over time while minimizing my exposure to the market. I think at the end of each week, I have to review where my account is and be realistic if I can increase my share size, or I have to stay where I am. The real test is whether I have the discipline to take only 1 trade. If I have a red trade, or if the market conditions are hot and I start to feel FOMO, you know, will I take additional trades? I have to remember this is a marathon, not a sprint. 1 live trade, 1 base hit. This is the kind of discipline I need to keep building. You know, would you have taken the SBEV trade today? Let me know in the comments. And if you're enjoying the journey, remember to hit the thumbs up and subscribe for more daily recaps. I will see you tomorrow. Hei a popo.